Good morning again, another morning coffee ritual. I know I don't normally do stuff about coffee, but I've had this ROK lever coffee machine in the office for a while and it's always made kind of disappointing coffee. I'm sure they're fine. I bought this second hand. It was probably a couple of years old when I got it and I didn't rebuild it. It's probably a bit tired. I know certainly when I rebuilt my other machine, it made all the world of difference. So I went onto their website and they're very good. ROK are really good. They sell all the spare parts, so you can buy replacement parts, which is really good. So you can keep it in service for many years. When I was on there, I saw this ROK conversion kit, which converts it to their new GC espresso matron. So it's quite interesting. So we'll have a look at the whole process of converting this, because I went online, I couldn't really see any videos of other people doing this. So thought while I've got it in, might as well shoot a video. So what do we get in this kit? So we've got O-ring, which makes the seal, a plunger thingy, a new chamber for it to go into, and a new little rubber seal that goes on the bottom, which is good because most of those things are knackered. But what I'm noticing straight away is that this is a smaller diameter chamber, so you're going to get more pressure. And to be fair, I was wondering, because with my other one, the Lapavoni machine, you can get an incredible amount of pressure and it makes a lovely cup of coffee. So I was wondering whether this just isn't producing enough pressure to get a really good cup of coffee out of it. So certainly reducing the size of the cylinder is going to increase the pressure that you're going to be able to produce through the beans. So let's get this apart. So you've got these two little screws. These two little screws at the top here. I might have to go to the workshop and get some tools. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna need a screwdriver or something similar. Hold on. Right, I've gone and got a selection of tools. I'm not sure what we need, but obviously because we're a workshop that mainly works on tiny electronics, we don't really have any big flathead screwdrivers. So I'm hoping I can use the handles on a couple of scalpels or something to work it open. Ooh, fail. And that's how you stab yourself with a scalpel. No, that's not the tool. Oh man, this screw at the top here has been randomly coming undone by itself since I got it. Now the one time I want it to come undone, it's stuck. Oh no, and we don't have the right tools. This is so wrong. Like a couple of coins would probably do it, but again I don't live in the past, so coins aren't a thing. There we go. Busted it loose. Alright, so now we have this undone. I'm guessing this, I haven't even read the instructions. It's the very manly thing to do. You don't read the instructions until you get stuck. Or you do it first, then you read the instructions and then realise why you've got loads of screws left over. And this is the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to look at the parts and see how it goes together. Right, okay, so we've removed the little screw. Remove the other half of it. Come on, there we go. Okay, and that will release those, and then so you can see how this works at the moment. You've got a rubber grommet here, and essentially what happens is you put water in the top here, hot water. When you pull it up, the rubber grommet rolls to the bottom, opening up the holes here and allowing the water to go through. So then the chamber with the coffee fills up with water, and then when you press it down, I don't know if you can see that, but the ring rolls to the top, sealing, so then you can get pressure on the way down. So it's just a super simple mechanism for generating water pressure there, just with a rubber ring to act as a valve. So yeah, it's very cool. As you can see, this is a bit old and scabby. I've literally used it for years. Yeah, I bought it before I went to uni and then took it to uni with me. I'm looking at the bottom of this. I'm noticing that there's some clips. I'm imagining that goes in there. So I think this must twist and release. So let's give that a go. No. Let's get the rubber bit out first. So there's a little rubber disc under here that forms a seal. I'm just going to poke that out. So that seals against the portafilter. Again, that looks like it could do with some love. I do clean it, honestly. I just haven't cleaned it in a little while. I might have to get some kind of penetrating fluid in there. I don't know, some Allen bolts on the bottom here. I'm going to undo those. And obviously I haven't got any Allen keys down here, so I'm going to go upstairs and find some Allen keys. Busting this loose might help loosen up some of that gunk that's in there. Oh, I was a bit worried then. These Allen keys are raw Chinesium. I thought they might just round off the ends. But that seems to be coming undone. Yeah, I don't think you have to remove this bit, but it'll just break the seal in there. Worst comes to the worst, I might have to cut this out. I don't know. We will see. Well, today has turned to tomorrow, as it's a real nightmare getting it out. I don't know if you can see, but all around here there's this kind of white deposit, which might be hard water, might be oxidization, little from column A, little from column B, but this thing would not come out. It was properly stuck in there. I tried using one of these little handly doos, and applied so much force that I broke that. So I gave it a good old whack with a rubber mallet in the hope of kind of breaking it up, because this thing, it's got a bit of flex to it. It was really strong. I hit it really hard and it did not break. So then I got out the really big one of these and I broke that as well. So in the end, I ended up having to cut. So I used like a handsaw and a chisel and carefully kind of cut a hole in this so that I could release the pressure by curling it up like that and then release it. I'd be very careful though, because obviously you don't want to cut into the metal on the thing and then ruin it. So that just took a really long time. It took me several hours to get that thing out. Yeah, so if you have one of these and it's covered in this white stuff that you can see through the plastic, it may be difficult to remove. And also if you have a new one of these, I'll probably remove this every month or so, give it a clean, just to stop you from potentially doing it. But yeah, hey, here we go. We're like 24 hours in, and yeah, we're ready to put the new toys in. So let's open that up. I'm going to assume that again, not going to use the instructions, I'm going to guess, but the ring on there, so that acts like a valve again, like it did on the other one. This piece in Myanmar. Oh, it just goes in so nicely. Yeah, totally service this every so often, then you won't get this problem. Pop that in there. Is that going to go in? Oh. I reckon that might need a bit of wetting up to get in there. Let's turn this over. Right, so now we've got our little thing here. That wants to go in here. This makes a seal between the bottom of the coffee matron and the portafilter. Pop this bit back in. This better make a significantly better cup of coffee, but that's what we're going to find out. You know, I've experience of the other one. It made you know, if I was an American, I would say it was a decent cup of coffee, because they like it slightly different. They like it, you know, more like it was coming out more like a brewed coffee as opposed to an espresso. So its crema game was weak, if I'm honest. You got a tiny bit of crema, but you didn't really seem to get much. So using the same beans on my Lapavoni machine, it come out all thick and Whereas this one, not so good. Not so good. But if I didn't have the other one to compare it with, I wouldn't realise that this was wrong. You know, I was using this one for probably a year, and I had a suspicion that it wasn't quite as good as it could be. But yeah, when I got the Lapavoni machine, I suddenly realised that its coffee game was weak. And again, you know, not dissing ROK. I bought this second hand. It was probably one of their original Kickstarter ones, and it was already, you know, pretty well used, so it might not have been functioning at its best. I did buy a bottomless portafilter for it. Okay, so what I've done is I've just wetted up the O-ring with a bit of water. I didn't want to use soap or anything to help it get in, because I'm a bit worried about the coffee tasting of soap for the first couple of cups. So hopefully this will just go in. I'm just being careful not to pinch this. You don't want to get a bit caught in the edge. It needs to stay in this groove as it goes in, so watch it as you put it in. There we go. Right, it's in. It's in. Let me get this level this straightened up. Push that down a little bit. Now I should be able to get these arms up around there. Line up the hole in the middle. There we go. Oh, no escaping. That goes in there. This one on here. And there we have it. Whoa. Fancy new chamber. Smaller diameter, more pressure. Also the O-ring on this one is much fatter than the old one and much harder to move up and down. So I'm thinking this, either they updated the design or this one was pretty worn out when I got it, because as I said, I got it used and I've never bought the rebuild kit for it. So I'm hoping that this will now make more delicious coffee, thicker, richer crema, and generally more goodness. There's only one way to tell though. I'm going to go and boil me a kettle, get me some coffee grinds, and we'll make a little cup. We'll see what pops out. All right, let's give it a go. Let's see what kind of espresso comes out of this bad boy now. So I've got some nicely ground, freshly cooked coffee. Just build that up in layers. So don't know if you've seen the other coffee video I did, but these are all beans what I cooked at home. Freshly roasted. Right, that's all tamped down. Okay. So we have this. I have some hot but not boiling water. Cool, right, so I'm going to get the portafilter in the thingamab over there. Twist so it's locked in place. Pour a bit of hot water in the top. Do this in a glass just so you can see what's coming out nicely. Alright, raise it to the top. Wait for 10 of your earth seconds. And we'll squeeze. Squeeze! No, I don't know. I'm still not getting the love. Perhaps I need to grind it even finer. Let's give it another pop. I was not 100% certain about the old chestnut grinder. I haven't played with that much, so I might not have the settings dialed in. So I've just tried grinding it with the same grinder I use at home. Put in some hot water, tamped it all down. See if this gives us something a bit more espresso-y. Alright. Raise to the top. I might leave it there a little bit longer. Okay, let's squeeze. Oh, yeah, there we go. So I think it might have been, I also squeezed a bit faster that time. I think it might have been the grinder not grinding fine enough. That looks like espresso, which is what we wanted. There we go. So as you can see, got a bit of a crema over the top. It's got a good thickness to it. Kind of sticks to the glass nicely there. Yeah, let's have a taste. Not bad, not bad. So, yeah, not bad. Oh man, I could do with that. Oh. That's a spicy meatball. Yeah, so is it worth it? If you need to rebuild it anyway, and your thing isn't all bunged up with limescale and you can remove it, test that first. Then yeah, absolutely, it's a good upgrade. You get a smaller chamber, which gives you more pressure. Slightly, you get better espresso, you get nicer crema, that kind of stuff. You do get a better espresso out of it with this upgrade and the additional pressure that it brings. It may be that my old one was so knackered that it wasn't building pressure properly anyway, but the smaller chamber should give you more pressure. If you have one of the older ones and you can't unscrew the thing because it's covered in limescale like mine was, unless you're quite skilled with hand tools and have a day spare, I probably wouldn't bother, because it was a really big job to get it out. You know, I don't know. I'm quite skilled at pulling things apart, and that thing nearly defeated me. So if yours is all bunged up with limescale, it might not be worth doing it. Just buy the standard rebuild kit, because that's just some gaskets and stuff. It's much easier to change. You don't need to dismantle as much. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to someone. If you have one of these machines or you're thinking of buying one, get the one with this thing. It's better. If you got any questions, stick them in the thing. If you want to see me pull more stuff apart, like and subscribe. I'm always tinkering with things. Anyway, awesome hanging out. Loving your work.